Hello, and welcome to Saul's Corner of the World. Tonight I've gone out to go see Toy Story 4, so let's talk about it. Now, before we begin, I'll admit it, there is probably some bias towards my review. When I was a kid, the very first film I can remember seeing in theater was Toy Story. As a child, one of my favorite video games on the PlayStation was Toy Story 2, Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue. And I hate that trash can monster with all my heart. I'm pretty sure some of y'all know what I'm talking about. And recently, I had actually watched for the first time Toy Story of Terror, as well as Toy Story That Time Forgot. Kind of a little in between Toy Story 3 and 4. Now, while I say that that's my bias right there, I also hold a certain bias in the other part of the review. I am one of those few people that believes that Toy Story didn't need a fourth film. I thought that 3 was a good ender to the chapter, and I really didn't see a reason for there to be a fourth. I still stand by that after seeing the film. But I see that Toy Story 4 is more of the epilogue to the series. Now let's get on to the review. Overall, how do I feel about the film? I think it's okay. I liked it, but it's probably the weakest of the 4 Toy Story films. I think one of my biggest complaints is outside of Woody, Bo, and the new toys presented, there wasn't really much to do for the other toys. Some characters, Buzz had a bit of a side B plot going on, and then Jesse just had like 1-2 good scenes. So if you're fans of some of the side characters of the Toy Story franchise, it's going to feel a little lackluster on that part. As for the story is pretty decent. The major problem, well, not so much as a problem per se, but I think one of the major aspects that might harm a person's view on the film is the story might seem a little bit predictable, but only in a predictability that there was really 2 options for the ending. 1, Woody goes with Bo. 2, Woody stays with Bonnie. And sadly, that there was no option for a, win-win. He gets Bonnie and Bo. Sad to say. But overall, while it was predictable that Woody was going to go with Bo, I did like how they actually brought up certain elements that certain people might find kind of contradicts the ending of Toy Story 3. Some people I've seen have complained about how it really goes against the idea of when Andy was telling Bonnie that Woody would always be there for her. But I think the problem is Woody was there for Bonnie, but the problem was Bonnie wasn't there for Woody. I mean, you can't exactly be in someone's life that doesn't want you in its life. And I think that's where one of the biggest issues from Woody's story comes from, is he just doesn't have someone as of this moment. Now then, if we're starting to look into other characters, I thought Ducky and Bunny was okay. They're not as horrible as I thought they were going to be, judging by the first teaser trailer that Toy Story 4 came out last year. Going by that trailer, I thought they were going to be horrible, horrible characters. And overall, I enjoyed them. I actually like the joke that pretty much they wanted to kill humans. Not intentionally, but they obviously had issues and wanted to kill humans for a reason or another. Though, if there was one really good scene I liked about the film, that the closest thing that actually brought me to tears. No shame, no shame. I have no pride. I'll admit that I was almost brought to tears. And it was the Gabby scene with the little girl lost in the carnival. I think it's honestly one of the best scenes in the film. Fight me. You won't, but fight me. And overall, that's another problem with the film. As far as antagonist goes, there really wasn't an antagonist. Yes, Gabby was antagonistic, but she was more of a tragic character rather than truly antagonistic. She's no Sid, she's no Stinky Pete, she's no Bear. Mine's totally Lotso, that's it, Lotso. No Lotso, but she's still antagonistic, but it comes off more as a tragedy. Kind of predictable in her way with Harmony, but she still gets the happy ending, even if it wasn't the original ending she wanted. Overall, I find the film, again, decent, not as bad as some of Pixar's other films. It's definitely better than Incredibles 2. I'm not saying Incredibles 2 was bad, but I mean, it's one of Pixar's better recent films. Just not as good as 1, 2, or 3. And overall, I think I would rate this film on a scale of 1 to 100. I would give this film a 74. And it's so much more as the rest of the Toy Story films were just better.